When I'm in love with a woman, that's her fault.
I don't think that he likes to see that he failed. But if you didn't want to fail, maybe you shouldn't have married the wrong person.
When I was called and told about our
Termination.
That's bull. Well,
That is so not fair to me. And that is so not fair.
I agree.
It's almost amazing how self-absorbed KODY Brown is that he hasn't noticed. Robyn isn't completely enamored with him. She is just interested in securing her position as the favorite wife, which is equivalent to her own meal ticket, in order to gain status. In reality, she also doesn't want him around all the time. She'll wake up and leave him too one day. You can't expect tranquility from someone who feeds on disorder, so please wait while someone tells Mary to quit seeking approval from this miserable excuse of a guy. As they say, misery enjoys company, and KODY is obviously miserable in his own skin. Welcome back to the TLC flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't even consider looking over your shoulder while you run. Mary girl. She must break off all connections, make a new beginning, and rebuild her life without these clowns. Robyn's path to becoming a successful bride is quite the story, isn't it? It includes a protracted romance, a dramatic kiss to cement the proposal, and a lavish wedding. Additionally, don't overlook the famous "I chose the dress" proclamation, 11 days of blissful honeymoon, no job, and receiving she paid off her debts, pitched a failing business that was supported by others, stole the most time from him, persuaded Mary to file for divorce so she could legally become his wife, and, of course, hired a nanny. Yes, I can understand why that relationship worked out. KODY Brown, star of Sister Wives, spends his time lying, complaining, and, of course, pointing the finger at everyone but himself. Daki's wife, however, simply sits there and hits her typical script while wearing her perpetual grimace. I simply don't understand. I'm terrified, I'm struggling, I'm bewildered, and I don't feel safe. I'm devastated. She still acts like she's crying about nothing and everything, of course. Mary delivers her typical biting one-liner. Janelle is busy being productive somewhere far away from the silliness, while Christine is in her own little bubble. You're welcome. I can't stop watching this slow-motion train catastrophe, though, in spite of everything. It's like, oh, the hubcap is gone. Furthermore, I wouldn't wager on Tata Farms becoming a long-term success based on historical trends, at least not without some significant direction. Over the years of watching Sister Wives, it's evident that Janelle has never been known to stick with anything. She seldom stays in one place long enough to unpack her boxes, much less complete the tasks she begins. Her absence of fresh blossoms appears to be a reflection of her constant movement and lack of permanent roots. There isn't much more comfort in Maddie's past. She left college as soon as she married Caleb, getting up on any professional goals. And now that she has 4 children under Axel's age, it's difficult to see the business taking precedence over her other priorities. As for Caleb, I haven't seen much of him. Without a seasoned business professional with a track record of success on board, it's easy to envision this enterprise going the way of my sister's closet. A lot of buzz, but little longevity. There is no proof that he will be committed to a flower farm or any other steady job for that matter. Nevertheless, losing a kid can drastically alter a parent, and perhaps this is the turning point for Janelle. You may have experienced a similar loss before, and you are aware of how life-altering it can be. Perhaps now that she is free from KODY and his never-ending turmoil, she can finally pursue her aspirations and concentrate on what really matters. Now that she's out of his shadow, I'd love to think she's got the focus and motivation she needs to succeed. Before even considering designing the farm, there is still the enormous obstacle of clearing the land. Add in, it seems like an uphill struggle to manage something of that size given the droughts, floods, and sheer amount of effort involved. What counts most, though, is if she's finding meaning and enjoyment from it. A project like this will require all hands on deck, so hopefully she and Maddie recruit a lot of help. We haven't seen much evidence of Janelle being the fiscally responsible one on the show, so I've always thought her claim was a little thin, but perhaps KODY was holding her back. More than we thought. I'm also cheering her on. It's possible that Tata Farms may surprise everyone if she can get over that baggage and make better choices. I'm crossing my fingers. We have suffered more than they have, Sister Wives star KODY. Robyn gives a nod of agreement. I'm grateful, KODY. All I want to do is concentrate on improving our relationship. Thank you for stating that, Robyn. It has harmed us more than it has affected them. Thank you. That's wonderful to hear. The mask is finally sliding. There it is. What we all knew was now verified by Robyn. She is engaging in the deceptive behavior that we have witnessed for years, having the audacity to concur with KODY's assertion that his children have suffered more as a result of this circumstance. It demonstrates her warped perception of reality and total lack of empathy. The main injustice for Robyn is that, despite having her husband and children at home, she is missing out on her ideal life, whereas the original children lost their father due to years of neglect, estrangement, and verbal abuse on television. Regarding KODY, he essentially acknowledged everything the original spouses and children had been saying all along, adding that Robyn is his main worry. He doesn't even pay attention to the others. To be honest, I hope that the original wives and children never allow these two to return to their life. Since KODY and Robyn deserve each other, let them continue to live in delusion and suffering. It's unbelievable that KODY actually had the gall to utter those things. He is disregarding the reality that he has violated his covenant with 13 other individuals while pretending that the two of them are innocent victims. Christine, who was devastated to see him gradually replace their family with Robyn's, had anticipated it even before Robyn appeared. Let's face it, Robyn has been acting the part the entire time. I find it hard to believe that she truly wanted KODY to make amends with his children. Given all those merely for show, she uttered sympathetic words. She would have raised her voice years ago if she truly cared. Rather, she did nothing but sit there and watch KODY treat his children the same way she says her father treated her. Despite having other options, she chose to condone his abuse of the children and the original wives. Naturally, she would also thank him for considering her, as ultimately, it's constantly centered on her needs, wants, and feelings. Robyn's lovely words were all an attempt to improve her reputation. However, she couldn't resist making it all about herself, KODY, Robyn, and the Sister Wives star as usual. KODY Brown's preoccupation with accusing his ex-wives of poisoning their children against him really got to me. It's just projection. He and Robyn initiated that nefarious game by poisoning Aurora, Brianna, and Dayton against Preston, their own father, back when they were courting. Even before they were married, Robyn was lecturing Brianna for referring to KODY by his name rather than his father. Guilty minds tend to blame people first, don't they? They are merely retaliating against their present adversaries by engaging in traditional gaslighting and narcissism. Robyn separated her children from their father and persuaded Mary to divorce KODY in order for him to adopt Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna. KODY then went along with it, making David, the child's original father, the antagonist of their tale, and accusing him of being a bad father and a deadbeat. In the meantime, Robyn's manipulation has forced KODY's own children with his first marriages out of his life, and KODY has become exactly what he accused David of being. Although we've seen Robyn's open animosity towards KODY's older children on camera, as well as KODY's paranoia about Christine, Janelle, and Mary concealing assets, Robyn likes to gripe that KODY's older children never accepted her as a mother. However, she also claimed that the original wives were cruel to Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna, and she didn't want them near her own children. Well, given how easily he conceals stuff from people, it's quite practical. Regarding vacations and coronavirus, he and Robyn accused the other wives of being toxic or impolite. The fact that someone didn't want KODY's older children to spend the holidays at her house is amusing. Additionally, KODY complained that Janelle didn't rush home to care for him when he had coronavirus, as if he had ever done that for anyone else who was ill or injured. Whenever they criticize or accuse someone else, I assume that KODY and Robyn have already done it or intend to do it in addition. Mary Brown, star of Sister Wives, is making me laugh with her jewelry drama. She went to great lengths to get a Phytolith loyalty necklace manufactured for her dog, and she truly does have one. She flaunted it in an entire TikTok. Her words were adorable, devoted, and modest. "Oh, this version of Mary is what I live for. The sass is incredible. Sincerely, I'm curious as to whether she simply put the old jewelry on her pet or if she had a unique one made for the dog. In any case, I'm enjoying this sarcastic Mary, but she's always been sardonic. The difference is that in the past, her eyes showed her anguish. Worried that KODY or Christine could lose it if she revealed her genuine feelings, she was always fighting to keep her mouth shut, stuck in that moment of determining how to avoid letting the sarcasm leak. Now that she's free, Mary is a whole feeling. Sister wives, oh, the irony. This is the so-called family house of Robyn Brown. A few episodes ago, she emphasized that the house was supposed to be a part of the family estate and a gathering spot for the entire family. KODY's attitude abruptly altered last week, stating that their home is already too full and that they would have to purchase a second home in order to house any visiting relatives. So let's clarify this. Only Robyn's family can fit in the house that is meant to house the entire family. What a farce, it's a huge location. Even if they're acting like it's not, they could simply set up space kids sharing rooms for a few days till that family may visit, even if we all know it's probably packed with boxes of crap. Not quite the end of the world, is it? This is a very obvious instance of Robyn and her children always coming first. In those small rooms back at the Lehigh house, the other children were nearly crowded like sardines, but they never had to share a room. Although I don't hold Robyn's children responsible for any of this, I would be furious if I were one of the other sister wives. What would have happened if Mary, Janelle, and Christine had set aside their disagreements and united to expose this partiality right away? KODY's absurd remark about forcing the children to sleep in their parents' room when relatives visited was also a power ploy. I mean, really, how often do individuals give up their own beds? Or place a sleeping bag on the ground to create space for relatives who are coming to visit? The sacrifice of seeing your loved ones is so little. It's not a huge concern. Do you recall when one of the spouses cleared out her whole garage to give her son a place to practice wrestling? Just unwavering support to ensure the children received everything they needed without any complaints. That's what it means to be a team player. Regretfully, KODY and Robyn never received the memo. Nonetheless, my views undoubtedly touch on a subject that has caused controversy among many Sister Wives fans. Given how swiftly events transpired during that time, it does appear like the time frame around Robyn's pregnancy with Solomon overlaps in a way that marginalizes Christine and her unborn child. It makes sense to think that the timing was almost calculated. Beautiful was battling severe postpartum depression, a newborn, and that move alone felt like a huge smack in the face to Christine, who needed assistance more than ever, while KODY and Robyn appeared to be in their own world as they went on their 11-day honeymoon immediately following their spiritual marriage. It seems as though all the attention was diverted from Christine and Truly, who were obviously having difficulties, to Robyn. The chronology you provided truly creates an impression that is similar to Robyn Solomon's pregnancy was virtually intended as a diversion from the truth. Not that Robyn didn't have the right to expand her family when she was ready, but something seemed strange about the whole thing, particularly given how differently KODY and Mary handled Solomon's birth than True did. You make an excellent point about how KODY's actions towards Solomon differ from those of True. The thought of how little care there is upsetting. Mary's overly enthusiastic response to Solomon compared to Truly feels inappropriate, especially considering that she didn't show the same excitement for Christine's baby. He gave her so much that her health suffered while he was so present and hands-on with Solomon. This contrast really highlights how much favoritism there was when it came to Robyn's kids versus Christine's. There's also the entire "I really won't be the baby anymore" declaration. They presented Solomon's presence as a significant change in the family dynamic, as if he were being subtly supplanted. Whether intentional or simply ill-timed, it's logical to assume Robyn may have engaged in some unconscious or perhaps conscious manipulation to ensure her position in the family by having a child with KODY as soon as possible. The end effect appeared to be that she was pushed to the context. Adding another child to the mix seemed to widen the gap between Robyn's side of the family and the others, especially in light of the turmoil of moving to Vegas, Christine's emotional problems, and the children's adjustment. You're certainly not alone in believing that things were unfair to Christine and True. Many people have observed the preference for Robyn's children, and it's easy to observe how the other spouses and their children might have developed a deep-seated animosity as a result of that. Furthermore, viewing the previous Sister Wives episodes from a different angle does highlight how controlling and disorderly the circumstances were, particularly for the children. The drama surrounding KODY's potential jail sentence was undoubtedly overdone for the cameras. Evidently, although the threat wasn't as serious as they said, the effect on the children was too genuine. I absolutely think that by keeping those youngsters in the dark about the situation, they did them a great deal of harm. It appears that they did it more for dramatic effect and plot than for any actual threat, and the hasty relocation to Las Vegas, basically uprooting their lives on a whim, was devastating. The reality that these children were abandoned to it is nothing more than emotional manipulation for them to think that their family was in imminent danger. It was the height of hypocrisy for Robyn to scream about how this wasn't the America she had learned about in school while promoting the idea that they had to leave to prevent their separation or KODY's incarceration. Although we now know that the tale was primarily for show, it's almost comical how hard she was selling it. As for the thought of KODY taking on new spouses with Robyn as the first wife, that would undoubtedly be a train crash worth observing. Imagine Robyn juggling the problems of control and envy. If she had to share KODY with other women all of a sudden, you're absolutely correct about the mental toll that all of this has done on the kids, their remarks about brainwashing, and the way they expose KODY's manipulating behavior. I would watch it only to see how she handles the same dynamics that she helped establish when she joined the family. Their actions truly show how much they've been able to see through the facade. Sincerely, you fixed it common in the end, and TLC and the adults in the family should be held responsible for the harm done to these children. KODY's choices have consistently appeared to be motivated more by impatience and self-interest than by any sort of long-term planning. The children deserve so much better than to be pulled along on this roller coaster of reality TV. One day, these children perhaps they will be the first to criticize TLC and reveal the negative aspects of growing up in front of the cameras for ratings. Let's all agree that from the beginning, Sister Wives star KODY, Brown, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn have lied about almost everything. In other words, everything they say is quite hard to believe no longer. If we are being honest, the true truth lies in the children who have voiced their opinions on the show on their own platforms. KODY has made every effort to suppress them, even attempting to serve them with non-disclosure agreements. That speaks volumes. At some time, every adult on this show has contradicted themselves by saying one thing and then saying the exact opposite years later. It's like to keep us interested, everyone has been engaging in pretend play. The program never accurately depicted their actual lives. That's all. It was all fabricated for ratings. Let's face it, we might never obtain the answers we all seek or the complete, honest account. Trying to figure it out is enjoyable. I believe that many of us were initially drawn in by the lies and contradictions that we have all been able to piece together. We initially tuned in to learn about a different way of life, but eventually the focus shifted from polygamy to observing the children and smart people escape this toxic, domineering husband-father role. Although the reality about what was actually happening was never entirely clear, attempting to figure it out turned into an odd sort of fixation. To be honest, few viewers ever truly believe the happy family narrative reality TV is based on drama, deception, and artificial plots, even though the most of us likely understood from the beginning that it was all a fiction. All the while growing connected to the children and hoping the original spouses will liberate themselves and become independent. Many people wonder how the first season family became what they are today, but I don't believe that was ever the case. Long before Robin entered the picture, they were already broken, and I genuinely believe that his appearance only highlighted those already existing fissures, bringing to light the long-existing instabilities. They painted a glamorous picture of polygamy for us, but it was never their reality. For them, it was never fantastic. From the beginning, it was a dysfunctional, broken disaster. If you are looking for more sister wives gossip, come back to TLC Flicks for all your updates. Bye, guys.